Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Stepano TV here, and I'm excited to share with you Red versus Blue Altar. It's a document I made today. I was working on it. I want to give people an idea of how the altars work and which one to choose. It's gonna always give you two options, top and bottom, and I want to give you education on which ones you should choose. Before we get started, I want to talk about how Wandering Path affects this. Wandering Path disables two key notables on each side. On the blue side, it's called the Shadow of Hunger, and it is Rampant Growth. Rampant Growth just basically gives you more chance to doubling your currencies, which would be Eldritch Chaos or Eldritch Annulment, Grand Grand Currency, and Greater or whatever. And Shadow of Hunger basically gives you 20% more altars in your maps, which is pretty big for blue. And again, you have the same thing on the red side. Word of Exile helps you get duplicated currency. And the Light of the Dawn lets you get one free altar every two maps at the beginning of the map, where you get the big red shiny influence. If you do go Wandering Path, you do delete your access to those notables. They do nothing. And I just want to make that clear. I like playing Wandering Path, so I don't have access to these. But there are clear advantages to going non-Wandering Path trees. This league, it seems like the flavor of the league is play Wandering Path, play Wandering Path, play Wandering Path. However, losing, notables like First Wave, First Wave, Shadow of Hunger, Duplicate, Currency, and Divination cards, Operator Strongbox. These nodes have very big value in them, and losing access to them is something that you might want to note if you do go Wandering Path, and it might not be the best strat for you. So I just wanted to, kind of make that clear. The one more thing I'd like to mention is if you are going Wandering Path, or if you're not, you still have access to Keystones. Keystones are that have to do with altars are Eldritch Gaze and Wrath of the Cosmos. You will always have access to these whether you have Wandering Path on or not. However, they are a little bit different. The quote at the bottom says, "You were drunk on power of the cosmos until a hideous gaze settled upon you and tendrils began to unfurl." What this means is your upsides of your altars will be 50% more. So instead of having 2 to 4 divines at the boss, you'll have 3 to 6. And instead of just having one downside like minus 40 fire res, you can have minus 40 fire res and minus 40 cold res. So you have 2 downsides instead of 1. The quote on the red side says, "A fiery dawn illuminates the horizon, and it becomes apparent that all glitter is not gold." And what this means is instead of having 2 to 4 awakened sextants from the boss, for example, you'll have 3 to 6. And instead of having minus 40 fire res, you'll have a 100% more, which would be minus 80 fire res altar. So for me, red altars are very, very scary. However, doubling the scary effect is even scarier. So keep that in mind. Moving forward, I have a list of all the different blue altars right here on this blue altar tab, and I have a list of all the different red altars. I have the weights. What's the chance that you get like a chaos orb altar? It's 3.63%. What's the chance that you're going to get a divination altar? It's 0.0003. And at first when I made this video, I was really surprised. Getting gilded on the blue altars is actually more rare. Like getting a specific gilded is more rare than a divine. I got all this information from POEDB altars, Eldritch altars, and I just organized it for you guys. So as you can see, you have the downsides, which I did not include in this video, but I'm talking about just the upsides. We have weights, and I took all this data and I organized it for you guys. And I hope that this video helps you decide which altars to push in the future. Now, what makes the blue side pretty unique is you can get divines, exalt orbs, veiled chaos orbs, where on the red side, you get things like awakened sextants, chaos orbs, and orb of annulments. A little bit easier to get currencies, that if you get a lot of them, people think that you can make more money doing red. I don't have a preference. I think red altars, the downsides are really scary for the type of builds I like to play, so I avoid playing with red altars. But this video is not here to tell you which altar type to choose, but more to tell you if you do get an option where you have an up and a down option, it's going to help you with your decision making and which altars to push. All right, so if you're doing maps and you're doing blue altars, I have this priority blue altars. And again, this is not set in stone what you should do. I do think that this is just based on my opinion and based on the strat you're doing and based on what you think is more profitable. You can change this to your liking. This is just a guideline for newer players in case they want, something to look at so they can, catalyze their decision making. So what I did is I filtered out all the bad rewards, and I could have made a mistake, just so you know. So this is again not set in stone, and I color coded. Green is the best, black is neutral, it's okay, it's better than these red ones, but it's definitely not better than these green ones. And what you get is 39% of the altars that you will run into are going to be pretty good ones. And like, I recommend, gilded, having a chance to drop having a percent chance to drop gilded scarabs. That can add up to a lot of money pretty quickly. So I put those as green. Veiled Chaos Orbs are very rare, especially if like the League mechanic doesn't drop it. So I put that as green. Divines obviously are one of the most expensive currencies. Exalted Orbs, those are, as people have seen, they are pretty rare this league. So getting them, more than one at a time is going to definitely be value added. I added divination cards that drop other divination cards. This is a very specific altar. This helps you get nurses and doctor cards. And in a league, that's very, very profitable. It can also maybe give you other divination cards that I'm not thinking about. League currency money. There's just some random league currency monies like Eldritch Chaos Orbs and stuff like that that are pretty good. So I left that on the list, but that could actually be a bad one, and you might want to avoid it depending on what you think. Grand Eldritch currency is around 30 to 40 to a div. So that's definitely a good one to click because you can almost get 30 in one map if you are lucky. Basic currency items have a chance to be duplicated. This is pretty good, but it's only if you do drop a good currency item that it will be good. So I did it red. Unique items can be duplicated. I put that green because, you always are going for the clips. You always want to get a sick unique item and dupe it. But again, if you don't think that you're going to be dropping a lot of uniques, this could be a red one, and you would want to push quant and rarity over it, or some of the other options over it. Scarab drops can be duplicated. In general, the only scarabs you can naturally drop from a monster is rusted. So this isn't that great of one, but depending on your strategy, this could be one of the best altars. Like, if you're doing wing scarab farming, this could be a very good altar. If you, had gotten one of these gilded scarab altars before, this would be a really good altar. Map drops by enemies are duplicated. Again, based on your strategy, this could be a better or worse one. If you're farming 8 modern maps, this would be one of the better ones. If you're using this notable right here, singular focus, and you have only one map favorited, this will make it so you drop more maps, and those maps will get converted into currency. Currency is good, so that could make it more valuable. Depending on the map you're farming, if you're farming for apothecaries, divination dupe, I put that as green. But if you don't have any good divination cards in the map you're farming, this will definitely be a red or should not be included on the list. And then we have greater Eldritch Ikers. They're pretty expensive because they're the second best, so I left those on the list. Divination cards that give basic currency. I'm sure you guys have clicked this one before and you've gotten, the divination, like the divine card, the cards that give divines. So I left this on the list. This could be a, more neutral color or even green, again, based on what you think and what is best for you. Pretty much it's the same thing on the red side. However, some things are changed. You can get Orb of Annulments instead of, Exalts. You can get Enkindling Orbs instead of Veiled Chaos Orbs, Gem Cutters, Annulment Orbs, and Chaos Orbs, and Awakened Sextants. And I put Awakened Sextants, Chaos Orbs as a green, Orb of Annulments as a green. Enkindling Orbs are actually pretty expensive when League moves on because everyone wants to use a Mage Blood. And what do you need for a Mage Blood? Enkindling Orbs. Gem Cutter Prisms, those tend to be pretty expensive, so I put those as a green. Pretty much everything else is the same. So the goal of this video wasn't to overcomplicate it, but just give you an idea of what your percentage is to see the altars, what the notables do to these altars, and what priority to try to prioritize clicking them. But pretty much that's all I had to say. I don't want to overcomplicate anything, but I really hope you do enjoy the way I presented the data. Below I'm going to link the spreadsheet. I'm gonna link you my Twitch and my Patreon. Feel free to check any of that out. And I plan on bringing you more videos like this where it helps you become a professional at POE. I'm making a series on my YouTube, and the first episode came out yesterday, Basic to Professional series. And this is how to make your loot filter. This is going to be the second episode, and it's going to be helping you decide which altars to click. Again, thank you so much for watching the video. If you don't mind, hit that follow button, and I hope to bring you better quality videos in the future. So thank you so much.